back and welcome to my channel. For those who've been following me or subscribed for a while now, welcome back. And for the new ones, welcome to my channel. I feature bullet journaling videos, crafting videos, and stuff like that. So today we are focusing on clear stamps. So today I will teach you the differences between the different kinds of clear stamps, why there is a big gap with the prices of clear stamps, also how to stamp with a clear stamp, what are the things that you're gonna need. So let's start off by showing you what you're gonna need to stamp. So of course you'll need your clear stamps. I have 3 kinds here, and later I will discuss the difference between the 3. You'll need an acrylic block, and later I will discuss why you need an acrylic block. And you'll need ink to stamp with and something to clean your stamps with. So I recommend using a stamp cleaner, but if you don't have a stamp cleaner, that's fine. You can actually DIY your stamp cleaner, just some water and a little bit of baby soap, very mild soap. Of course you need to have more water than soap so that you don't have to rinse it, or you can just use soap over the sink, brush your stamps and stuff like that. I'll have a video coming out later this month about how to clean your stamps, but for the purposes of this discussion now, you just need a clear stamp or even a baby wipe, or even just water and a rug to clean your stamps. If you're just starting out with stamping and don't want to buy all the things that come with stamping, because this is a whole new hobby in itself. So there, I primarily use stamping on my journals, and I enjoy using stamps to convey my emotions or the things that happened today. So I have a lot of stamps. If you haven't seen it already, I have a video showing how I store my stamps, and a video showing how I do my daily entries in my bullet journal, where you can see I sometimes stamp or add stickers there. So if you want inspiration how to use these. So but what exactly are clear stamps? And let me show you how it looks like. So this one is a clear stamp from Love Cynthia. She is a Filipina, and I like to support Filipinas. So brands that I know that are local are Love Cynthia, are not really local but made by Filipinas. Some of them are not based in the Philippines. So Love Cynthia, who was based in France but is now based in the Philippines again. Mommy Lay, who's based in the US, and Everyday Explorers, who is based, I'm not sure if she's based in the Philippines or in the US. I know she's here Christmas season because I've seen her in her pop-up booths. I'm not sure if she's really based in the US, but she sells stamps in the US as well. And I believe all 3 brands ship internationally, so if you're not in the Philippines or not in the US or not in France, you can still order these stamps from them. So I'm not paid to endorse them or anything. I just really love supporting local people. I love buying local, or at least support local talent, even if the things that they make are not made in the Philippines. So anyway, going back to stamps. So this is a clear stamp, and from the name itself, you'll know that it's clear. This one's a little dirty, but you can still see it's clear. Clear meaning you can see it's translucent, and you can see the back of my finger there, or you can see like the color of my finger beneath it. So the good thing about clear stamps is that you can see through them, so you know exactly where to put the stamp on your paper. Because the problem with rubber stamps is that you don't know exactly where each part of the stamp is going, so you can't see. So it's hard to like maneuver them, especially when you're using it in journaling, unless you're very used to using that stamp. So anyway, with clear stamps, it's very easy to see. Like when I put it on my paper, you can see the white parts of the paper, and that is why it is very advised to use an acrylic block or something clear to hold your stamps there. So clear stamps are unmounted. They are always sold unmounted, meaning it's hard to stamp them with not holding onto anything. They're also sticky. So you need something to mount them, which is an acrylic block. So you can hold them and stamp the stamp in place. So, and my stamp is still dirty. You can see I could stamp because I wasn't able to clean it properly the last time I used it. But anyway, so you need an acrylic block, and I recommend using an acrylic block, or if not an acrylic block, something that you can see through, still see through, so that you get the benefit of using the clear stamp. There. One problem with clear stamp though, as opposed to rubber stamps, is that rubber stamps usually have a foam in between the mount and the stamp. So when you stamp it, there's a cushion that helps you stamp the image properly or very nicely. With clear stamps, you don't have that. So it's, if you're stamping, I would recommend having a few sheets of paper beneath it, or something a little soft to not very soft, but you know, something that could help cushion it and give you a nicer image. Usually papers at the bottom suffices. So if you're journaling, you don't actually need anything else. But if you're using it for cards or something, there's a stamping, I don't know how exactly it's called, like it's a mat that you use for stamping, that it's kind of soft and pliable, that when you stamp it gives you nice crisp images. You could use that, or just, you know, use paper because it's expensive. So there. Then aside from that, so there are 2 or 3, I'm not sure if there's just 2 or 3, because I'm not sure if the other 2 are the same. So but there are, for the purposes of this discussion, we have 2 kinds. We have photopolymer, which is this one, and the other which is silicone or acrylic. I'm not sure if they're different, but they do they feel like they're different. If I were to take a guess, this is silicone and this is acrylic, but they could be the same. I'm not sure. But the main differentiator is photopolymer is the high quality clear stamp, and the silicone or acrylic stamp is not. So, and then the price varies greatly. Photopolymer stamps usually retail for around 700 pesos to and above. So usually, I believe Love Cynthia is around 760. Everyday Explorer sells at around 800. Mamile and Love Cynthia are around the same price, so 700 plus. And then Everyday Explorer is at 800 plus. And then you get the cheap ones, which is the acrylic and silicone ones. The branded ones go for like 300, 400. So make sure if you're buying clear stamps and there's no brand, you don't pay for more than that amount. And then the cheap ones, the unbranded China ones, retail for like, the cheapest I've seen is 45 pesos. But that one you have to probably buy it straight from China. So Shopee sellers or Lazada sellers who are from China, they would sell it to you at very low price. But if it's from resellers and or retailers, you would probably get them for like 60 pesos and up. So there. So this one is a branded one, this one is not. And the reason why, even if they're made from the same material, the branded ones still have some sort of quality control, while the unbranded ones do not. So nothing against how the Chinese manufacture things, but you know how their quality control is just bad. So if you have the option, if you want quality ones but you want it cheap, go for the branded ones that are not photopolymer. So go for the branded acrylic stamps. They are cheaper. Go for 400, 500 a piece for the big sets like this, and you get value for money. Because with the generic stamps, the unbranded ones, it's a hit or miss. Like in this set, I haven't used everything here, but one of them is not. So you know how when you stamp, the surface of the stamp needs to be at the same height so you can stamp the entire image. I've had several stamps that are not of the same height, so when I stamp it, it doesn't have the same. You can't stamp the entire image because some of them are not of the same height, and I will show you an example of that in a while. So there. So let me show you how to put your, although you've seen it a while ago, but let me show you again how to put your stamps on your acrylic block. Oh, but before I go there, let me show you the different kinds of acrylic blocks. A few years ago, it's very hard to find an acrylic block and they're very expensive. The cheapest I could find were these ones from Rosie Studio. They're just plain acrylic blocks, literally a block of acrylic glass, and they have sharp edges. And then came in the Chinese sellers and the Chinese, or the resellers, the Filipino resellers of Chinese products, and we get these oh no, actually this one is not, but this one is from the Chinese reseller. So edges are a little, so the edges are curved, and I love this kind of acrylic block because it's not so sharp. There is still an edge, but at least the curve here is not pointy compared to this one. It's really pointy. And then there are the branded ones. I believe this is Fiskars, where the edges are actually on a slant and they're not sharp at all. Like, they're blunt, so you won't hurt yourself or accidentally scratch yourself, compared to the ones from China, or the ones made in China. Or maybe this is made in China but has better quality control, I don't know, or better specifications for making it. But this one is Fiskars, and it's really, really nice. Some of them are just blank, some of them have grid lines. I prefer having grid lines, especially if you're using words. Like in here, Monday, Wednesday, you can line them up on the line so that it's straight when you stamp it. So let me show you how to put it in acrylic block. This photopolymer stamp is actually so photopolymer stamps are very sticky, and the back of it's not very sticky now because I've used this several times. So because it's very sticky, it tends to attract a lot of dust. But the way to stick it is to just really put it on your acrylic block and stick it there. If this were a really clean one, let's see, like, let me show you how hard it is to take it off. See, it's not hard to take off. It's not easy to take it off the film. It's very, when you put it on the block, it won't slide around like it was doing a while ago. But when I press down, it won't fall off, and it's actually a little hard to get. So this is photopolymer. Again, this is the high quality stamp. With the silicone and the acrylic, when you open them, they kind of feel greasy. So they have something in there that's greasy, and if it's the first time you're using it, it just really feels iffy to use. So but there, let me put this here. Let me transfer this one here, or let's get the, yeah, let's transfer this one here, there, and here's another one. Let's choose a nice image with great balance between the blocks. So let's maybe, okay. So if your stamp is new or unused, with the acrylic or the silicone ones, they're really hard to take out. Like, they're super sticky the first time. Like, sticky the first time when you take them out of the film that they come in. So like here, it's so hard, and when you take it out, you can see the stamp stretch because they're very stretchy and soft, and that's actually not a good feature of a stamp. I'm gonna change up because I want this to be straight, so I'll put this on the line. So there. So that's why the lines are handy, so you can put it on a straight line if it needs to be straight. This doesn't need to be straight, so I'll just put it there. So photopolymer stamp is very hard compared to silicone and acrylic, where they're very soft and stretchy. So, and that matters because the softer the stamp is, when you stamp it down, it kind of expands if it's soft, so it doesn't look nice when you stamp it. Versus with photopolymer, it's harder, it's tougher, so it's hard. So even if you press down, even if it expands, it only expands a little. Some of them are really good quality, they don't even expand at all, so that's really nice. Same with rubber stamps, right? When you stamp the rubber stamps, that's why you get really good detail with rubber stamps, because it doesn't expand when you press down. It holds its shape. So that's how you put it in your acrylic block, and I will show you how to ink it. Let's just put these aside for a while. I prefer my inks in cubes, and you'll know why in a while. But for the purposes of this video, I'm guessing most of you have my paper's dirty. Most of you have the big ink pads probably from National Bookstore, so something like the Best Buy brand, Artline, or this other brand I forgot. If you are going to get one, I would actually recommend getting the Artline one. It has nice crisp images. But if you could, I would recommend you get Versacolor or the other ink pads ideal for stamping in your journal. I did a review of the inks, of the different inks that you can buy locally in a separate video. I'll link to it below if you're interested. But for this video, I'm actually using Versacolor. My VersaCraft ink is actually dried out, so I can't use it. But I also want to use this so that we kind of have the same ink pad to use, which is a large pad. So typically, when we stamp, the way we're used to is that we open the stamp and you dip your stamp into, or you pat it onto your stamp multiple times. The problem with this method is that, one, you have to control your pressure. Pushing so hard on your ink pad will give you a lot of ink, which can mess up your stamp or how it's stamped on your paper. Like, it's good if you're using like just stamping documents, right? It's fine. But when you're stamping on your journal, you want it to be almost as perfect as you can get it. Okay, so let me show you. And then, so when you stamp it this way, so aside from getting a lot of ink, when you know how, like in that commercial, you do it like that. So you don't do it with this one, because again, you get a lot of ink on your ink pad, and also it won't give you a balanced ink, or it won't spread the ink across the entire ink and across the entire stamp. So I actually want to do it the reverse way, where you put your stamp on a flat surface, take your ink pad and actually pat it gently on your stamp. So again, very careful, don't put in so much pressure so you don't put a lot of ink on your ink pad or on your stamp. Then just gently tap it. What this gives you is that, one, you don't waste a lot of ink. Two, is that you can see where the ink is going, and you can just tap it until all of, quiet please, you can tap it until all of the surface, the entire surface of the stamp is inked. So like if you can see spaces where there is still white or uninked, you can actually go there and put ink down. So there. So gentle tapping. If you slide it across, some ink pads have texture on their foam, so some of them are not foam, and you can see the texture there, so it doesn't look that nice. And it's very visible in photopolymer, because the photopolymer stamps actually hold the ink better. So to stamp this, take your acrylic block, hold it on the edges, and then just stamp. Put it down gently, push down on the edges. And then if you want, you can actually push down here, but don't push too hard, because again it will expand. So here, and then we have there. So I have this space that I've been trying to get, but it's not, for some reason it's not putting down the ink. I guess this is because this is acrylic, and I'm telling you, acrylic or silicone, the quality is not that good. So let's try again, and this time I will smush a lot of ink into this, so you can see what I'm talking about. There. So just put a lot of ink in there, and ever so gently stamp it. So there. So since I stamped really softly, it doesn't look that bad. But let me show you stamping really hard. It's not so obvious, but you can see how my stamp expanded here. It's uneven because when you push it down, the pressure is uneven. So you can see how with this one, the lines are straight, but with this one, this is fatter, and also it's not straight anymore. So that's the problem with silicone and acrylic stamps and stamping too hard. So you want to make sure that you don't stamp so hard on it. Then here, let me show you one that is from a generic Chinese maker. And I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but the stamp is not flat. The L's here are very high, higher than the rest of the stamp. And also the O is lower than the rest of the stamp. So let me just ink it up. So edge, stamp. So you can see it's not, and I just pushed it on the edge and on the middle, or on the middle of the stamp. But since it's not flat, again, because this is a generic Chinese stamp, China-made stamp, no quality control. So that's the only part that I could stamp. So I have to actually take better care, and if you have this, you actually have to press harder. And since the O is lower than the rest, I have to tilt my acrylic back a little to cover the O. The problem would be if your stamp image, and if your stamp actually has the middle part lower than the others, it's hard to get to stamp the middle part. But since this one it's the edge, it's easier because you can just tilt your stamp to cover the entire thing. So this is pressing hard. See, you almost have it. The O, not so much. And then this is like maneuvering the ink pad or the acrylic block to cover the entire thing. So there, now I have my entire O. And again, this is your generic unbranded stamps. And with your photopolymer, you get the best quality out of photopolymer. And so let me just ink this up. The ink sticks really well. And if you find yourself with ink that slides off your acrylic, your stamps, most of the time the problem is the ink. But also if it's acrylic or silicone, the ink doesn't stick so well. So you have to do something to it. I'll show you in a different video. But there, here, you get really nice images. And so there. So that is how you stamp. So again, hold it on the edge. Let's ink this up again. I put too much ink on that because I put the stamp on the pad instead of doing what I told you to do and just dab it on front. So I got so much ink there. Sometimes it doesn't cause a problem, sometimes it does. So anyway, so repeating the process. Take your acrylic block, hold it on the edge, stamp it, press in the middle, not too hard. Unless you're using photopolymer, then it wouldn't expand so much. And then lift it up. And so you got a nice stamped image. And let me show you something really quick. Let me take these out first. Actually, you don't need this. So let me show you the effect of stamping really hard. see how stretchy that is? So let's get that, and let's get this one, weekend. Oh, and you have to remember when you put the stamp, flat side on your acrylic block, not this side. Just thought I'd say it in case it's not clear. Okay, so let me show you the effect of stamping it real hard. So it's very evident with thin lines. So this is stamping it gently or just the normal way. Then this is stamping with very hard pressure. You see how it expanded, but not so much. Well, I put so much ink on the W so that when I press down, it's there. Let me clean that up. So that's a problem when you don't tap on your stamp. So let me try again. Pressing it down hard. There. And then with this one, tap. It's easy to forget to tap when you're using a big ink pad like this one. It's very easy to remember when you're using a small ink pad because it's so small you can fit the entire thing in there. So this is stamping it with normal pressure. So it stamps really nice. And then this is stamping it with a lot of pressure. So you can see how obvious the expansion is versus with this one. I mean, this one is really bad because I put too much ink. But here, even if you stamp hard, it looks nice. As opposed to when you stamp with acrylic, when you stamp it hard, it's so obvious. It's just so thick and it doesn't look nice. So there. So that's how you stamp with an ink pad. So let's talk about cleaning it. So you can see my hands are very dirty. So that's why I don't recommend using a big ink pad. If you can, just really get the small one. It's not as messy as this one. Because with this you get ink on the edges of your acrylic block. So anyway, so how do you clean this up? You can buy this cloth. This cloth is the one that you use for cleaning cars. I don't know what it's called, but it's spelled as CHAMOIS. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not sure if it's French or what. I call it chamois because I'm Filipino and I read as I pronounce word per letter. So anyway, so you can like dab some of your stamp cleaner and clean it out like that. And it's clean, or you can use a scrub pad. Mine's very dirty, so I don't want to clean with it. The problem with the scrub pad is that if I clean my stamps here, because there's already ink there, and when I put my cleaning solution, it actually reactivates the ink. My stamp will actually get dirtier. But I like cleaning my acrylic blocks here, so it's a nice scrub. If you have very detailed stamps, it's nice to clean them using a scrub pad. So there. And if you have a problem with, so see, it's not really cleaning that well because it's dirty. Let's try on this side. See how it reactivates some of the inks. So just scrub your stamp. You can actually scrub while it's on your acrylic block, but since mine's not sticking that well, it will just move around. So with your clear stamp, if the back is dirty and it doesn't stick so well, it's actually nice to just pour directly on your stamp and just use your fingers to remove the dust and wait for it to dry. Or if you have a microfiber cloth, you can use that. Just make sure it's not dusty so that the dust won't stick on the stamp. But otherwise, that's fine. And then here, again, so cleaning it here, just scrubbing it. The problem with the scrub pad is that it gets me so dirty, and it, again, since the ink is already dirty, it's not cleaning that well. So let's just use this cloth. Or you can actually use baby wipes. I saved some of the baby wipes that my kids use, like when I just used it to wipe something off and not their wee wee. So like this one is used. You can just wet it with your cleaning solution and clean it, or like that. I like the baby wipes method the best, but since it's not very eco-friendly, I just reuse these. You can actually wash them if you want. So there, I have one more. So here. So there. So that is how you clean your show you, just as a final tip, you can actually use multicolored inks for your stamps in case you want it. You can use different colored inks, or you can use your markers. So like I have here 2 markers. If I, for example, want to color this stamp, let's put her in a block. There. So let's say I want her hair to be pink. So I'll just brush my marker across. It's a little hard to see, but it does get the ink there. And this is very effective with photopolymer stamps, because again, photopolymer stamps really are, the surface is not that smooth, so the inks usually really adhere well. So there, use that. And then I want brown for her skin, for her eyes, her face, maybe the cups. So the rest is brown. Her hair is pink. So there. So you can see I have pink, I have brown there. So you can do that, or you can do it with ink pads. So let's say I want to use this and this. So I want a gradient, and let's use, oh, I forgot to clean this. Let's take this hello, and I want the top to be a light mauve color. There. Then I want the bottom to be a little darker color. Again, tap tap. If you want to do specific areas of a different color, it's the best to use a tap tap method. There. Then I see that I missed a part of the hello here. So tapping it again. So I have a color gradient now. Stamp it. And you can see there's a color gradient. So those are other things that you could do with your clear stamps. And then another alternative to acrylic blocks is that the caps of your ink pads. So if you can't find Versacolor, there's this Japan Home ink that I got. It has a really nice color, this pastel set. Although the cover is not that strong, so I taped it. But this is actually really good quality. Let me show you real quick. And I got these on sale for 66. I don't know if they were on sale that day or if it's just 66 bucks. But this one I got for 66 bucks. And let's just do that. So there. So it's a nice pastel color and I really like it. So there. And so there, you can use the caps of this. So that was my entire point of showing you. The caps of the ink pads you can actually use as acrylic blocks because they would stick. You can actually do that. Or here, you can stick them here and stamp that. Or you can use a stamping block. Let me show you really quick. Not a stamping block, but a stamping press. Here. Okay, so how this works is, let me just put these here so they won't get lost. So how this works is that this thing here, this window, is like a big acrylic block. And you open it, you put your stamp here. Or actually, what I do is, I get my paper. So I have magnets here. This is magnetized. So you put your paper here. This is some trial stamping that I did. But let's use this paper. This is ideal for card making. So you put your, take this out. So you put your paper, align it on the edge so that you know that it's where it's supposed to go. Put your magnets down to hold it. And then get your stamp. Get your stamp. Flip it. So make sure your stamp is clean. Flip it to where you want it to go. Exactly. So let's see. I want it to go there. And what I'll do is that I will close this window down, press it there, it will pick up the stamp. So the stamp is now there, and I will now ink it. So let's ink it with this color. So ink it, and then close the window, press a little, and your image is stamped. The benefit of using this is that, for example, you don't stamp, you weren't able to ink it properly, it didn't stamp really well. You can repeatedly stamp it and it will be on the same spot. Like, let me show you. Let me just clean this up and I'll stamp a different color. So we have pink there. So I'm stamping a different color so you can see the effect. You can stamp over it. So there. So we stamped over it and it's now, we added a layer of purple. So if you didn't stamp well the first time, you can actually stamp over and over and over until you get your desired shade, darkness, or correct the incorrect stamping or the lacking parts of the stamp. So if I ink it some more, there, I'm getting a shade nearer this one, and again we had the mauve color under it. So there. So that is how you use clear stamps, and let me know in the comments your thoughts about how to use these, how you use them, where you use them, what stamps do you have, where do you buy them. I'd love to know more about how you use your stamps. And so thank you for watching. Bye.